Make Swiss cheese from anger, piss on fire. Sit back with a grin until angst expires.
I want to talk about being ready when ideas strike. And by that, I mean this whole creative process. How does it happen? How does a song get written? How does an album get written? Especially when you're just one person rather than 4 bandmates or whatever else, an orchestra or something, I don't know. For me, I have various phases. So when I'm in kind of idea collecting mode, it's a little bit like my hoardery tendencies, just pull everything into a nice little pile in front of me and I just collect the data. There's no other way to describe it than this is the phase of collecting data. You record your voice memos in, you sing it in, you strum it in or whatever, or you write it down on your sticky notes. And then at some stage, that collecting data phase has to end. And then you enter phase 2, which would be organizing the data. And when you're in organizing data mode, then you treat it a little bit like a jigsaw puzzle. And the only way to complete a jigsaw puzzle is to put the bits that you know in first. So the bits that you've decided you like already, those can be in the chorus or in the verse or whatever. And then after that, you start to put more pieces onto the board until the picture starts to build up and the song is starting to take shape. And that's the sort of organising phase. Now, that is still very different to the mixing and engineering and mastering sort of phases, which I've finally realised that as an artist and musician, I don't think that's actually my responsibility. And I can give you some good reasons why I think you should think like that. Financial reasons, for one. If you allow somebody else to mix your work, then one, it gives someone else some work, and you may have to pay them, you may be able to get them to work for free for you, but...
What happened?
No, I'm recording.
Oh, sorry.
Oh dear, this is embarrassing. Where was I? Recording, mixing, getting someone else to do the producing. One more. So I think getting somebody else to do your mixing and producing for you is a good idea, because one, it gives somebody else some work, and it does give another perspective to your songs or your work. And I think that's a good idea. I'm currently 2 years into the writing and recording of my album at the moment. I've done my demos, some of them are on YouTube already.
Going to plan, I can
but there's a bit of a ceiling with how good I can get them to sound. I mean, I was working with Logic 8 and the crappy drums that come in there, but there's only so much I can do because I'm coming at it from the writing and arranging perspective, whereas a producer will come at it from an engineer and producery perspective, which means they can focus on what they're good at. One of the other albums I'm working on at the moment, I had my producer one of the tracks for that, and the first demo of what he did sounded leagues better than me spending hours and hours and hours mixing my own stuff. So I think it's actually kind of important to pull your head out your ass. Don't expect that you can do absolutely everything by yourself, because you can't. You have to admit what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are. For me, those are, I can play guitar, I can play bass, and I can sing. I need a drummer to record the drum parts in, but I can program drums pretty damn well. So that's what I'm working with at the moment. The financial reasons being that once you realise that you're not a producer or an engineer, then all this necessity for stupidly expensive studio gear goes right out of the window. I mean, I even took my studio monitors down out of my room because I don't need them anymore. Like 2 massive 8-inch drivers or whatever that, yeah, they're flat response and I can mix on them and everything, but how often do I use them? Not very often. And actually, when I'm listening to music, just as a listener, I prefer the soundbar that I've got under my computer, which is a TV stereo speaker system, because you can control how much bass there is, and it's kind of nice to be able to be polite to the person upstairs when I'm playing music and turn the bass down a little bit. So I think that actually having a set of studio monitors is something that we all expect to have to do, and I won't throw mine away. At some point I will need them, I don't know, maybe at some point in my life, but for now, when I'm working by myself, I just put a decent set of headphones on, and then you can work at any time of the day or night, assuming you're not screaming at the top of your lungs at 3 in the morning. But when recording guitar and bass, you can DI, I go into my amp, DI that, put the headphones in, it mutes the speakers, so I can be, most of my metal project I've been recording between the hours of 11 and 3 AM for most of the sessions, whilst everyone else is asleep. So I don't miss the studio monitors at all. So also the other thing that I don't need are thousands and thousands of pounds worth of rack mounted valve compressors, plugins and outboard gear that's just going to take up space in my room and space in my bank account. So don't need that at all. All you need is Logic or Pro Tools or Cubase or whatever, and you have to know what the producer wants, what format he wants it in. And for me, I know that now. If I can give him a DI, then he can plug it into his Kemper, which he's spent the money on, or XFX or whatever, and he's got a DI signal from my guitar. I can then, well, maybe I'll go into a video about this another time or something, about my actual setup, but I honestly think you can get away with a lot less gear than you tell yourself you need. Spend the money on the important things, a good guitar, having it set up properly so that it's in tune, intonated well, and makes you play better. Have a good amp if you want, but to be honest, I don't really use amps anymore, even though I've got a couple. I use a pedal board straight into the mixing desk for live. I use in-ear monitors, so I don't need to have an amp on stage or a wedge monitor on stage. I essentially get the front of house mix, so I can generally see what it's like out front, which you can't do with normal monitoring or an amp.
Some of those that burn horses are the same that burn crosses. Some of those that burn horses are the same that burn crosses. Some of those that burn horses are the same that burn crosses. Killing in the name of. Killing in the name of.
So there's lots of reasons for trying to go against this voice in your head that says, I should buy this because this will complete me, or this will make it better, or whatever. No, it won't. Realistically, no, it won't. One thing that you should buy is a reflection filter for your condenser mic when you're recording vocals, so that you don't get a load of your bedroom walls reflecting into the back of the mic. And it's a lot easier than egg boxes, dressing gowns on a massive stand, precariously balanced across whatever, pillows and duvets and whatever else. It's just a lot easier. Yes, it's expensive, get the good one, it's worth it. And a decent set of in-ear monitors. If you get in-ear monitors, you can use them live, which is instantly better than my old £10 Skull Candy headphones that I used to use. Even though the sound from them was really good, in-ear monitoring, I mean, the sound is a lot better, but also the little things that go over your ears and down your back, it just looks a lot more subtle, a lot cooler. And they work really well for the studio monitor sort of alternative, so you can hear flat response when you're mixing, and you can do it at 3 in the morning without annoying your neighbours or housemates. So I think that's something quite useful.
But oh yeah, but rain doesn't show up on the camera, does it? Yes, it does! Look at that! Well, I don't know who I'm blogging to, I've never blogged before, but this is us, and there's the dance floor, that's the only solid bit of floor. Do a bit of a 180, 360 even. This is where we're supposed to play.
We're all in our winter clothes.
This is, trust me, this is the only day I forgot to bring a waterproof jacket. What a...
It is. It's nice.
280.
Oh god, that's what I mean though. I'm getting wet here. Yeah. I'm not having my gear out on this. No way, fool.
Yeah, I think this is, what did we say the phrase was?
Rained off.
Rained off. Match postponed.
Yeah.
Well, look at this. We've
This
now
is
got walls.
Our new expertise and service we run.
I might film this actually, because yeah, look, we sort of did know and didn't know how to do it, but we've redone it because we're all OCD, and now this is like, wow.
Kind of there.
But we've still got like the gear to bring in, and we're now an hour behind.
Yeah.
Oh well. And too loud is like you hear it sharp, and if it's too quiet, you hear it
What,
flat.
within ears, you mean?
Yeah, can be. Yeah.
I find it in the car sometimes. I get like the pitch of the car. You know,
Yeah.
you get an intro of the song, it's like just drums or something, and then it comes in. You go, whoa, that's a bit weird. That's not the note I expected.
Yeah. Oh god.
I think we
It's
did
quite
a good
nice
job
in
of
there,
that.
and then you come out and it's like,
we've made it our own, haven't we? Look at that.
Yeah, that's pimping.